Softest hands that held me tight.
Good morning. It is January 2nd of 2026. And y'all, last night I ate that food and I was done. I just went right to sleep. Like, I literally had more stuff I had to get done. And I fell asleep. It was about like 11:15, I think. Like 11:15, 11:30. Where that food just was digested, and I was like, okay, let me see if I could just take a quick little nap and then get up and do the rest of the stuff I have to do. But that was a fail, baby. That was a fail. That was a fail. So I don't recommend, after a long day of being out and, doing stuff and then coming home and eating a meal, I wouldn't recommend eating before you get done everything you got to get done, because, whoo, truthfully, that meal is going to put you down every time. It's going to put you down every time. That good food, that halal truck was good, but I don't know. I feel like the one near my old house is way better. Like, just a side note. But, yeah, what I'm going to do now, though, I'm up. It's about like 9 something. It's about 9:15. I just had to get that sleep in, though. I really wanted to get up earlier, but it's okay. I've decided I'm not going to go to work today. I am going to continue to be responsible this year, but however, I feel like it's necessary for me to take these couple of days to really just drive in all of the personal goals that I have and want to set myself up for success for me in 2026. I will not allow this job to keep me from being everything that I want to be outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a life outside of your 9 to 5. There's a life outside of your employment, and you have to make sure that you are putting time and effort into that, because if you're not, then you're really going to lose sight of what's most important, like what makes you happy and what your real purpose is. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that some jobs aren't a part of your purpose, because everybody's story is different, everybody's walk is different. So your job may actually be a part of what God has in store for you to be doing. Me personally, I feel like I've grown to a point where I feel like my job is just holding me back in some ways, in the sense of like I'm not able to mentally have the capacity to do other things a lot of the times after I've gone to work, and even at work it is kind of draining. So I am actually just deciding this year and figuring out ways on how I can get another mainstream of income, but also more importantly build those other streams of income. You know what I'm saying? Those streams of income where I'm doing something that I'm passionate about, doing something that I love, doing something that's more purposeful, and still being able to sustain myself. But I trust God's going to be able to supply all the time, because he always does. And the struggle is over this year, okay? I'm not playing, like, and as long as I'm putting in the work, I know God's going to do his part and show up for me every time the way he always has. But anyways, outside of that, since I wasn't able to get everything done last night, I'm going to start my day off with the rest of the things that I had planned on my to-do list, which was, of course, get into my word. I did read scripture yesterday, but I didn't dive into my word the way I had intended. So I'm going to start with that, of course, so that I can have a fresh anointing on today. And then we're going to get into breaking down or reading my In His Image. I was supposed to have finished this in December. I'm not gonna like beat myself up about it, because at the end of the day, it's a new day, it's a new month, it's a new year, and I just want to be better than I was. I got that quote from Trey Rags. I don't know if y'all watch him or know who he is, but he's actually he's hilarious, and all his skits are hilarious. But I watched one of his personalized videos, and he was talking about one of the quotes that keep him going is the quote, "better than I was." And when you break that down, it's like all you really want to be focused on is better than I was yesterday, better than I was last week, better than I was last year, better than I was 10 minutes ago, better than I was 2 hours ago. Why? Because at the end of the day, everything that's already happened is in the past. You can't change it. There's no going back. So all you can focus on is now. All you can focus on is today. All you can focus on is this hour, this moment of your life. So if you are unhappy or upset with what happened before, or what happened in the past, what happened yesterday, what happened this morning, what happened last night, then just focus on being better than you were. So I'm better than I was. Like, yeah, I may not have finished that book in December, but I will finish it in January. Not even, it's not going to take me all of January. I'm going to start a new book for January. So I'm planning on getting that done within a week. Yeah, it's not that much left, but yeah, I just want to be better than I was, and I feel like I'm starting off on a good note with that in this new year, so I'm excited. But yeah, I just want to take this time to study, dissect some of the questions, and read in his image to start my day, and then I really need to get into the gym because that's what I was supposed to do last night as well. Didn't get in there, but that's okay. I got my chlorophyll though. I don't know if you can see, but chlorophyll has actually been giving me some life in the mornings. I'm not gonna lie. My chlorophyll water. I walked into the new year with myself in my right mind, okay? So I'm happy about that. But I'm gonna finish cleaning the house today. And after that, we're gonna go run some errands. I do have a friend that is still in town, so I'll probably stop over and hang out with them a little bit, but I don't really want to consume myself with hanging around friends too much this year. Not saying it's bad to hang out with friends, but you got to make sure that your priorities are in order first. You got to make sure that you've taken care of yourself first, and then you allot that time for other people. Because I just don't want to get caught up in not doing what God has for me. I don't want to get caught up in not focusing on the task that God has given me to do. So this year, I just want to make sure that that's at the top of my priority list, and then, go from there. But yeah, so we'll probably do that, and then probably end it off with DoorDash tonight. But I also have to spend time on my digital products because that's something that I know is going to give me another stream of income. That's basically my own business that I'm cultivating and running. So I got to take that seriously. If you have something that's been sitting on your heart, or you have something that you've been waiting to start, please start it, because there's no other time to do it but now. So yeah, that's the day, and I'm going to take you guys with me. So let's go. Okay, so y'all, I had to change locations because if I sit on that couch, I'll go to sleep. If I get too comfortable on that couch, I will not be productive, bro. Like, does anybody else have their couch where it's like, as soon as you get in it, like, you start soaking into it, like, you be ready to go to bed, like, you be ready to take a nap, you be ready to just lay down and be lazy. I don't got time for that today, so I had to change location to get to my desk to do the reading for In His Image. And then also what I found was, after I was reading my Bible, I was about to get ready to read this, but then I was like, let me take a little 10-minute break, because it is important that when you are being, when you are being intentional about what you're doing and you're being productive, you do need to make sure that you take like breaks. Just like anything, you want to make sure you're taking a break, even though it's something that you want to do and it's something that you you find joy in doing. Like, I enjoy reading my Bible. I enjoy getting closer to God. I enjoy learning about the stories because it teaches me a lot, and it actually just lets me see like what God has always been doing, and like all the things, and understanding like what back in the day they went through, and like how they maneuvered, and like how slow of a people we really were. But whatever, we're still that slow. It's probably even worse now, and it's evolved. But anyway, but it's like, even when you're doing things that you want to do, you still have to make sure that you're taking like a break, or even doing things that you need to be doing. You need to make sure you do something that's like, more lighthearted or calm. So like, if that's scroll on TikTok for 5 minutes, or if that's listen to music, or watch your favorite TV show for 30 minutes, something like that, something quick, so that you can decompress and then get back focused to what you're doing. So I was laying there in my little break time, posting a picture on Instagram, and I was like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym. I'm cultivating these thoughts in my mind, trying to convince myself that, I can go later today, I can go tonight, I can go tomorrow. I'm trying to put it off. But don't put it off. When you start hearing those voices, or you start if your self starts to try to convince you otherwise, than doing talk you out of doing something you know you really need and want to do, get up and do something about it, like in that moment. So as I was starting to feel like I was about to freaking talk myself out of going to the gym, I had to put my gym clothes on, because in Atomic Habits it teaches us that you want to prepare, like make it easy to do good habits. Make it easy. Like, to make it easier for me to just go to the gym, I want to be ready after I finish reading and doing my reflection questions. I want to be able to just go. Like, you know what I mean? That makes it easier than, rather than have to get dressed and have to prepare and all the things. Like, you want to make sure that when you're creating new habits and better habits in your life, that you set yourself up for success, and that you set yourself up so that it becomes easy and not hard. Of course, we stray away from things that are too much effort, too difficult, or too stressful. You know what I mean? That's just a natural human thing to do. So to help with that, prepare yourself, right? So yeah, what we're about to do, we're going to dive in. I really already finished this chapter, the chapter of God Most Gracious. So I'm really just going to only do the reflection questions, and these reflections be having me deep thinking, like, oh, what do I really want to do? So yeah, I'm about to do the reflection questions, and then we are going to head to the gym because we have no choice. Okay, we love that. Okay, what it teaches you about being blessed is that no matter what it looks like, amen. When you are blessed, you can see things from God's perspective. When you are blessed, you can see things from an elevated state. When you are blessed, you can see things as good, even though it may not seem good. When you are blessed, you see things and you feel the presence of God in everything that is being taken place. Like, I'm blessed enough to know that even though I'm going through this hardship, that is still God on the other side. I'm blessed enough to know that even though I may not feel like God is with me, He's always there. Even though it may seem like everyone's against me, God is still on my side. And I have the kingdom of heaven that I'm going to be eternally grateful for at the end of the day, that I'm going to be a part of. That's good. This is good. I need to highlight this whole piece. That's describe a time in your life when you fulfilled the golden rule by showing preferential treatment to a difficult person. Ooh. That's a good question. I gotta say this. So this question, because this chapter is all about grace and how God is most gracious and how He wants us to make sure that we are giving grace to people as well. And this question says, describe a time in your life when you fulfilled the golden rule by showing preferential treatment to a difficult person. What was the result? And what did you learn about being a follower of Christ? And the golden rule, if you don't know, is just treat others the way you would like to be treated, right? So I just am laughing because it's so many times where I've had to deal with difficult people in my life, and even friends that are very difficult, and I've given them grace, but I've also just given them the love that I would have wanted to receive in return. Although I know they would have never probably given the same back to me if the roles were reversed or if the situation was flipped. And it's just funny to me because I do it all the time. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm so positive, and I'm just very like, I want to make sure that I'm spreading God's love and light to people, that even if it not kills me, but I don't like to ever be rude or mean to people. I don't ever want to give people what I feel they should probably really deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really giving people mercy, for real, for real. But I give people grace by giving you something that I would have wanted. And I do that often, but it's funny because I literally just had a situation where I've done that. So I just find that question interesting. But yeah, I think everyone should ask themselves that question, like, when was a time that you've, actually acted out the golden rule, treated others the way you would like to be treated with a difficult person? Because as a Christ believer and as a follower of Jesus, it's hard. It's not easy. Like, of course, we want to always make sure that we are, being a light and love to people in their lives and encouraging people to follow Jesus and encouraging people to believe in God and to just get a relationship with God. And we want to also be a reflection of that. That's what this whole book is about, is being in the image of God. We are created in his image and we are supposed to operate as such. And then the only way to know how to operate in his image is to learn what his image is. And being gracious is one of the things that he does so much, so effortlessly. And I think that we have to practice that more. If you're a person that tends to maybe react too quickly, or if you're a person that maybe goes extra in situations that maybe you didn't need to be extra in, once you stop, well, I would suggest probably to stop, take a second, recognize the situation, recognize how it makes you feel, recognize that you are maybe potentially outside of operating in love, the act of operating in love, and ask God to calm you down, ask God to give you the words, ask God to give you the peace that you may need to respond correctly in that moment, so that you aren't, not reflecting God's character. You want to always make sure that you are a reflection of God in every situation, even the difficult ones, even when people are giving you hate, even when people are cursing you, and even when people are saying bad things about you. You're still supposed to give them love. You're still supposed to give them grace. You're still supposed to give them mercy. That's a part of who we are created to be. So imagine like someone's going off on you, someone's disrespectful, all types of things, and you respond with love and not hate. Imagine what that'll do for them, because now they're like, well, what the heck? That's not the response I was looking for. Because in anybody who's going off on you or being disrespectful or being wild and outrageous, 9 times out of 10, they're just looking for a reaction, or they're trying to get under your skin, or they're trying to hurt your feelings, right? So in those situations, imagine you not responding the way they're looking for you to respond, and they see that you are choosing to be calm, you're choosing to be peaceful, you're choosing to give love in return rather than hate and rather than violence and rather than chaos. Like, that will do something, and then it'll make them question, well, what is it working in you that's allowing you not to be able to act that way? Like, what is it that you've called on that's giving you that ability to not be irate? And then it maybe give them a chance to actually understand how to manage their feelings, or how to manage their anger, and recognize that that's just not an appropriate way to respond to people or act. But yeah, I feel like this question goes for a lot of people. I feel like this question is something we all should ask ourselves as followers of Christ, simply because it's difficult when you're dealing with people who are difficult. As a Christ believer, it's hard to respond with love and respond with grace, because you naturally want to go off. You naturally want to cuss someone out. You naturally just want to give them what they are giving you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people be like, I'm going to give you the same energy, like, we got to cut that saying out. If you're a Christ believer, I mean, do you if you want to do you. But if you want to be a follower of Christ, do unto others as you want done unto you. But more importantly, you are not to give somebody the same energy that they are giving you, because what if that energy is demonic? What if that energy is negative? What if that energy is hate? If you're a Christ follower, you were never supposed to operate, and we try our best to. I'm not saying that you sometimes may not fall short in operating in negative things, but that's when you repent. That's when you turn to God and you ask God, forgive me for even acting out like that. Forgive me for doing this. Forgive me for saying that to that person I did not mean. And you have to go and apologize to them just to make it right. You know what I mean? Because it's about your heart. Like, God, when people say God knows my heart, okay, you're right. He does know your heart. And if your heart is not postured in that manner, he sees that. You're not fooling God. We're not fooling God by pretending we're this or we're pretending we're not that. God sees it all, okay? He sees all the way in. The parts of you that you're trying to hide from the world, that you're trying to hide sometimes from yourself, God sees it. So you want to really purge it if there are things like that in you that want you to make you, or want you to respond in anger to people or hate with people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to operate like that at all. It can be difficult, but you got to call on God, because he will help you through it. He will get you through that moment. And I tell you right now, like, I've had conversations with people that are very difficult, and all I could do now in this new me, because old me, The old me gave them what they asked for. The old me matched energy. You know what I'm saying? You know, they match energy. I used to do that. I used to match energy to a certain extent if you got me to an anger level that would require it. But my natural reaction is always to not give you what you're asking for. But before I was fully surrendered, I genuinely would say things I wish I never said, do things I wish I never did. Now I can take a step back and recognize, no, I'm here to be a example of who God is. I'm here to be a Christ ambassador. As a Christ ambassador, does this action or does this operate in what God would do, what Jesus would do? You know, that was the saying, what would Jesus do? That's real. That's a real thing we need to be following. When you get in your word and you recognize that as Christ ambassadors, in Corinthians it says we are Christ ambassadors. We are to operate how Jesus would operate. We are to be like Jesus at the end of the day. So if he wouldn't respond like that, then why are you? And it gets difficult, but it's something you have to practice. And the only way to practice it is to start. The only way to practice it is to recognize first that this is a situation where I would need to change how my flesh would immediately respond. Take a moment, step back, and then respond in the way that I know that God would, or that God would want me to. Okay, I'm back from the gym. I did not record all of my workouts, so when y'all see the video, don't be like, "Oh, that's all you did." Blah 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 blah. I couldn't record. Couldn't record on the treadmill, and then I swore I was recording when I was doing my leg routine, and clearly I wasn't recording, and then I went over there. Good thing I saw in the end when I did my last set of squats, I got that in there. But yes, the first day I feel like can just be freshening up back in the gym. I haven't been in the gym in weeks, really since November. Oh my God. But that's why we're going to be consistent this year, and that's why I'm in there. Okay, at least a minimum of 3 times a week. Okay, there's 7 days in a week. If you can't go 3 times, I'm not going to say that's a problem. It just depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to work on. But I feel like 3 is a reasonable goal, you know what I'm saying, that you can achieve. So now though, I'm about to go get lunch with my friends. Like I said before, clock me. I hope I'm not out all day, but I won't be because I have other things to do. And even if I am out all day, it's Friday. So I still have time to get done everything else and lock in tonight to get everything else done. But I won't be out too long. But we're going to go to Cheddar's, and it seems kind of nice out. So I don't know what I want to put on. I want to look cute, but I got 20 minutes to get ready. So we'll see. Y'all, so I'm the first one here at Cheddar's. And it's so funny to me because amongst my friends, it's always me that's late. It's always me that takes forever. But today, I win. Like, today, I'm here first. Yeah, I say we're starting off the year right. We're starting off the year right. Hit that, yeah. Okay, y'all, so I do want to tap in and let y'all know this is part of the day where we just popped up on one of my friends. He works at the Kinship, and he just took us on a quick little tour of the little apartments. And I must say, this area of Charlotte is really nice. Like, well, it's at Camp Northam, but the Kinship, if you're looking for a place to stay and it's in your price range of about 14 to 18 or 14 to $2,100, this is like a nice one. But I really just love the views. Like, it really is cutesy, and you can see the city and everything. And it's like a whole bunch of little shops that's around. Like, if you know North Carolina, or not even North Carolina, if you know Charlotte, you know Camp Northam. But there's me, yes. I really am just trying to plot on where I'm about to be moving to, because in July, I'm out of the place that I'm in right now, and I really want to see what else I can go to, what else is in the range, and what else it's giving. I want to get closer to Uptown, but this is definitely my vibe. I don't know if it's so much so in my price range, but it's definitely what I'm looking for. Spacious, clean, very nice, I like the floor to ceiling windows. That's kind of really what I'm looking for going into my next place. But yeah, sometimes we just come and tour the apartments just because like, why not? When you have somebody that works there, like, who's gonna stop you? But one thing I do really love about the Kinship too is the color scheme. Like, I love the cabinets. I love the gray and then like the tannish color. Because I hate a yellow house. Like, I hate a yellow lighting. I hate a very washed out, old looking type place. It's very clean and very cutesy here. So that's good. And bright. That's the word that I was trying to find. It's very bright. Like, I need a place with good lighting because ain't nobody about to be in the dark. But yeah, I think he showed us like a 2-bedroom, 2 different sizes, and then the 1-bedroom. And then he showed us a studio, but that's not in here because, yeah. So after that, y'all, we really didn't do much else. This is us at Novelty House, just making a quick little pit stop uptown. Look at me jamming to my song. But yes, I'm always down for a vibe and a view. But that's all for now, y'all. Until next time.
My life is in the hands of the potter. Take me as your clay, I surrender to you.